Welcome to another episode of Parlo Gems. In today's episode, I am giving you my reaction to episode 8 of Power Book 2 Ghost. If you're a fan, make sure you go ahead and hit that like and that subscribe button, and make sure you're ready to leave your reactions with me down in the comments section. Now, I must start off and say that this was a very fast moving episode. It was very exciting to me. And you know how episode 8s are in the Power universe. Somebody is gonna get dealt with, and it definitely happened in this episode. So let's get to it, because there are a lot of things that took place. You can tell that they are starting to set things up for the next season as well. But without further ado, let's jump into some of the recap and I will give you my reactions. So the episode started out with Davis on top of a building. He was getting drunk. He was upset that his brother Theo has nothing to do with him since he got him out of jail, especially since he went about it by doing it illegally. And while he's up there, then Saxe comes and joins him. And at this particular time, Davis has no idea that Saxe has stabbed him in the back. Then Davis gets a call that Diane has been arrested. Okay. Meanwhile, Tariq is running around trying to let everyone know that there is a pending RICO case on him, Brayden, the Tejadas, everybody that he touches. He's trying to let them know that they are hot in the streets, and they're trying to see, as far as the Tejada family, if he can be trusted. But you know, Tariq, he is cool under pressure. And he's just letting them know what's going on, because they have no idea what is about to come down on them. Meanwhile, Diana is doing an excellent job. I predicted this in my last video where I talked about episode 8 predictions. She was stone cold hard in the investigation while she was being looked at by Blanca and Jenny. She did not fold under pressure. In fact, Saxe got there to try to weasel his way into her mind and get some information, but Davis shows up. We talked about that in the last video, and by then he knows that Saxe has betrayed him. Tariq showed up and told him, and he's trying to weasel around and get Diane not to spill the beans and admit to what she is doing, so he doesn't run back and tell Blanca and Jenny what is going on. And so Saxe is in there. He's basically selling all the way out. He's all the way in that he is going to basically betray Davis' trust. And so here he admits that he's cool with that. They showed that in the trailer. Meanwhile, while they're putting the pressure on Diane, Effie and Kane are up in their room, at least on the campus, and they are getting busy. I mean, they've been playing this little cat and mouse game for the last few episodes. And once Kane paid for her semester tuition, it was on. He was in there. And so they're lying in the bed of lust, and she gave it up to him. And what was funny to me is he's supposed to be worried about his sister, but he's up there getting his booty on. So meanwhile, back at the house, Monet is meeting with the family, and she's letting them know that she's back in control, and Gordo's family is at the table, and he is trying to look them in the face, knowing that he has killed Gordo and it's not going well. So Tariq finally meets up with Brayden and they have a conversation, and Brayden tells him that it's a Ponzi scheme, and Tariq tells him that there's a RICO case, and he's like, what, like a YSL RICO? Brayden is crazy. And so they seem to be back on good terms so they can run business, and they decide that they're going to start letting RSJ know what's going on. They're going to let the Tejada family know what's going on. They're going to try to get everybody's money back as well as dodge the RICO. Meanwhile, Tariq tells Monet that her money is tied up and she wants all her money back. And you know, she's stepping hard. I mean, she's a real stepper. She goes up to the country club and she talks to Brayden kinfolk, and she like, I want all my money and I want to make sure we got an understanding. That was a great scene. I mean, she was just straight to the point. They were like, you can't come up in here, black lady. And she's like, look, I don't care who you say can't come up in here. I want my money. So she was real good in that particular scene. Mary J. Blige did a great job holding that scene down. Very believable. Meanwhile, then they go back to Dru's former love interest with Everett, and he's coming out openly saying that he's a gay NBA player, and he comes out with his new boyfriend, and you know, your boy Dru is feeling some kind of way about that, and they go back and forth. And then what I really want to get to is Theo. So Theo finally starts talking to his brother, and Davis lets him know that Saxe is with the feds. And that's when Theo loses it. Okay. Theo, he basically has blood in his nostrils. We already know. And I predicted in my last episode that he would be the one that would do some dirt. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. And one of the subscribers left a great comment, and their prediction was head on. I got their comment, but I'm going to tell you more about Theo and why he was acting the way he was acting in episode number 7. Then we see from the trailer that Effie does get arrested. She was set up by Monet and by Tariq, but she didn't go to jail for drugs. They did it real nice. They took out all the drugs from the warehouse and put sugar there. And so that got all of the feds all mixed up and messed up and upset, and they turned on Saxe. And this is where we see Saxe. He gets a target on his back. And I'm going to tell you about that in a few minutes. So then they shift over to Gordo's mother and his brother. They're starting to put pieces together because they're wondering where Gordo is. And someone films, what's his name? Dru and his former boyfriend talking in a restaurant, and he admits that Gordo is no longer around. And it's gone viral on social media. So they're wondering, where's Gordo and what did Dru do, or what does he know? So now they're shifting to face Dru for a second time to ask them about their loved one. I'm going to talk about that in my next video in a prediction, but they're laying the landscape of what is going to happen. Okay, so Effie gets out of jail. Her and Kane come back to the house, and Tariq and Monet, they admit that they set her up, but she was cool with it. She understood what they were doing, and she did not flip out. She understood that the feds was on them. It's just business, and she walks out the house upset. Meanwhile, Theo goes and grabs Saxe. After Davis told him that he was with the feds, he goes and grabs Saxe, and he wants to kill him. And the reason he was so gung-ho and not talking to his brother and ready for Saxe to die is because we found out that he had a medical condition and doctors had given him about a month. So in Theo's mind, he's like, I've got nothing to lose. Okay. I'm going to take out the man that can put me back in jail. I'm not going back to jail. And sure enough, Theo is the one who busted cap in Saxe, and R.I.P. Saxe. All of his dirt caught up with him. And here we see the setup for that scene. Davis gets a call from the doctor's office, and they were letting him know that the treatment was not working. So now he finds out that Theo only has about a month to live. And they go to try to stop that. We saw that in the trailer. They loop back around to that in a few. Then we have Monet and Diane meeting up after she gets out of jail, and she tells her mother, I want out. I want out of New York. I want out the game. And you know Monet ain't having that. It's so funny. She said, I want a fresh start. Monet said, I'll give you a fresh slap. Get your tail in that car. So Monet, you know, she's bossy. She wants to do what she wants to do. She runs her kid's life. And I got a prediction about that relationship because they are coming to a boiling point. And I'm not going to say too much on this because I'm going to put this in my prediction video later on this week or next week. I believe that something is going to go down between these two. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comment section because I'm seeing something like a Tariq and Ghost situation between these two. It's always something between the child and the parent in all of these different series. Even when you think about Kanan, okay? When you got Kanan and his father, then you got Tariq and you got Ghost. And now you have Diane and her mother, Monet. So I'm going to talk about that later. Then it's finally out in the open that Lauren is alive. The feds come back and arrest Effie again. And she's thinking it's for drugs. And they're saying, no, it's for attempted murder. And they reveal that Lauren is alive. And I think that something is going to go down in this relationship between her, between Kane and Effie, because now she can get all of them, or at least both of them, on attempted murder. Oh, that was a cold scene. She was like, yeah, that's the B who tried to kill me. Real cold blood. Look at the look on Kane's face when he sees her. Oh my gosh, he can't believe it. So you know Kane, he don't think. He's ready for a 187. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You know how it's going to go down. He's either going to off Effie or he's going to off Lauren, because both of them, I think, can point back to him. And here we have Davis showing up. We saw in the trailer where him and Tariq were running, saying, put down the gun. And he was running to Theo, who had a gun on Saxe. And I've already told you, he put a bullet in him. He's 6 feet under. It's a wrap. R.I.P. to the legend Saxe. He got dealt with. And so that was the particular episode 8 and everything that went down. But I do want to give a shout out to one of the comments we had this week. They predicted correct. Yes, they left the comment and said, yes, Davis' brother is going to kill Saxe, then go to his favorite place on the waterfront and kill himself, basically sacrificing himself to save Davis again. I said, oh, wow, that would be crazy, but I can see that. So YZ Theory hit it, the nail on the head. That is exactly what happened. Man, shout out to you. I had to give you a shout out on this episode. Y'all make sure you drop all of your thoughts, comments, and theories about this particular episode. I really enjoyed this episode. I was glad to see Saxe get dealt with. All of his dirt finally caught back up with him. I'm excited to see where Monet and her daughter go. I'm excited to see how it goes down with Lauren, Effie, and Kane. RSJ knows his money is tied up in the Ponzi scheme. I'm waiting on him to take it back to the wire and go get Snoop, and he deals with somebody. He's acting real reserved in this episode. But I think that he's going to shed some blood and take it back to the old man, how he used to be. He said he was from the streets, and so we're going to see. But this was crazy. I think something's going to happen to Dru. I think Gordo's mother is going to do something to him. I'll talk about that in another video. But you guys, let me know your reaction. Did you like this episode? Was it whack? Let me know your comments and your theories down in the comment section. It's your man Parlo. Catch me on another episode. Peace.